Hello. Just a few days ago, I saw that Sean Hannity told Barack Obama that he did not think that he was fit to be a U.S. Senator or a U.S. presidential candidate because of his connection to his pastor. If you haven't seen the video, here it is.
Pastor in his church. He is his friend. He is his mentor. He is his trusted advisor. On the day that he announced that he was going to run for president, he disinvited the pastor, and according to reports said, well, you can kind of get rough in those sermons. He knew that his pastor went to Tripoli to meet Gaddafi with Louis Farrakhan, one of the biggest racists and anti-Semites in the country.
Well,
he didn't leave his church when his church gave a Lifetime Achievement Award to Farrakhan. There is no excuse. Not only Neil Bort says he unfit to be a senator, he is certainly unfit to be president.
Now, what I think is hypocritical about this video is the fact that Sean Hannity has praised many controversial pastors, ranging from Pat Robertson to James Dobson, many of who has said very negative and bigoted things about gays, or the Hurricane Katrina, saying that it was caused by gays. But most striking was his praise of Jerry Falwell, because he was attacking Obama, saying that his pastor was anti-American. However, Sean Hannity has praised Jerry Falwell as recently as just a few months ago when he passed away, and here's the video of that.
Christopher Hitchens, you know, Christopher, I interviewed you a little bit about your book just a short time ago. It made me think a lot. Jerry Falwell, because I do know him, he does a lot for people that are in trouble. He gave a lot of scholarships to his school. He helped women that were pregnant and needed help. He'd give them food and a place to live and an education. He did a lot to people that are alcoholics, and et cetera, et cetera. You have your hostility towards religion, and that's without saying. You know, I just wonder, you know, when you compare his life, you know, there are a lot of good atheist communists out there like Stalin and Mao and Pol Pot, and, you know, they slaughtered millions. Jerry Falwell slaughtered nobody in his life. He may have misspoke once or twice, but he devoted his life to his religion. You have nothing good to say about him at all?
Now, what I think is hypocritical about this video is the fact that he says at the very end that Jerry Falwell just misspoke a couple times. Well, for those of you who have not seen his misspeaking, or whatever you want to call it, here it is, and it is atrocious.
What we saw on Tuesday, as terrible as it is, could be minuscule if in fact God continues to lift the curtain and allow the enemies of America to give us probably what we deserve.
Well, Jerry, that's my feeling. I think we've just seen the antechamber to terror. We haven't even begun to see what they can do to the major population.
The ACLU's got to take a lot of blame for this.
Oh, yeah.
And I know I'll hear from them for this, but throwing God, or successfully with the help of the federal court system, throwing God out of the public square, out of the schools. The abortionists have got to bear some burden for this, because God will not be mocked, and when we destroy 40 million little innocent babies, we make God mad. I really believe that the pagans and the abortionists and the feminists and the gays and the lesbians who are actively trying to make that an alternative lifestyle, the ACLU, People for the American Way, all of them who tried to secularize America, I point the finger in their face and say, you helped this happen.
Well, I totally concur.
Now, as you can see, Jerry Falwell just, of course, launched into probably one of the most anti-American tirades I've ever seen. Just as bad as Barack Obama's pastor. Actually, I think it's worse. I think it's even more bigoted. But I think it's interesting that if you're connected to a pastor who says something like that, you can't be a U.S. senator or a president, but then you can be a talk show host. So I'd have to say that, actually, I don't think that Sean Hannity is fit to be a talk show host, based on his praise of a man who said that 9/11 was caused by gays, lesbians, the ACLU, and the separation of church and state. Basically, it was caused by the Constitution, in his opinion. So I'm going to have to sound like Ron Paul and, you know, say, kick out everyone who doesn't respect the Constitution and get the hell out of Fox, Sean Hannity. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
When he spoke to Pat Robertson, who was just a foot behind him in the race. He said the reason 9/11 occurred was because God allowed it to occur because there were certain people that lived in this country, certain groups. Groups like, and I'm quoting, the pagans, which is, they're a motorcycle group. So I don't know what the problem was there. And he mentioned the feminists, which I thought was rather remarkable. I didn't even know he knew what a feminist was. I was surprised to see the word, because you don't really see it in print much, except kind of in a historical context. And I thought that's interesting. You thought it was the feminists. That's what upset God. To think that during this century, women had actually said, I'm not working in the kitchen anymore. I'm going to join the workforce. I want to be a part of the workforce. I want to make decisions too. And not only that, I want the same money as a man. And I want just as much power as a man. And I want to be in charge of my own destiny. And God apparently looked down into the kitchen. And there was no stew on the stove. And the spice rack was in disarray. And God saw this, and he was not pleased. And so he said, I will smote them.